Attorney Osceola, can you hear us?
Yes.
Appearances for the record. Starting with the state. Defense
Janine Marie Anson, Public Defender's Office.
and pretrial release.
Jonathan Marino, PTR.
Thank you.
Jonathan Marino, PTR.
Thank you. Benjamin Amador Monroy.
Mr. Amador Monroy will be needing the services of a Spanish interpreter,
Thank you.
and he's approaching. No, Amador Monroy.
Good morning, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Buenos días, señor. Díganos su nombre y su fecha de nacimiento.
Benjamín Amador Monroy, 18 de enero
¿Qué año?
de 1980.
Benjamin Amador Monroy, 18 of January 1980.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up on two charges. The first is operation without a valid driver's license. The second is failure to register a vehicle. Court's reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. You do qualify for the public defender.
Señor, usted fue detenido por dos acusaciones. El primero es de conducir sin licencia válida. El segundo es por no tener la debida matriculación del vehículo. Determino que existen indicios de criminalidad y usted reúne los requisitos para un defensor público.
This will be a straight release on own recognizance.
Será puesto en libertad bajo caución juratoria.
Thank you, sir.
Gracias, señor.
Christina Breyer. Good morning, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please.
Christina Breyer, 9/22/1978.
Ms. Breyer, I'm going to need you to speak up or get a little bit closer to the microphone because I can't hear you.
Christina Breyer, 9/22/1978.
Thank you, ma'am. You've been picked up on two charges. The first is expired driver's license more than 6 months. The second is no motor vehicle registration. Court's reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender is appointed in this matter. Bond will be set on the expired driver's license more than 6 months in the amount of $250. On the no motor vehicle registration, $250. And then you're also charged with false name or ID by arrestee. Reviewed the affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond will be set in the amount of $500. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Susan Hansha. Good morning, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please.
Susan Hanshu, July 11th, 1972.
Thank you, ma'am. You've been picked up on 3 charges. The first is a petty theft, then a resisting arrest without violence, and possession or use of drug paraphernalia. I reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender will be appointed in this matter. For the petty theft, bond will be set in the amount of $250. Resisting arrest without violence, $250. Possession or use of drug paraphernalia, $500. You're not to return to the Walmart located at 3250 Vineland Road. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anthony Herrera.
Anthony Herrera, December 6, 1966.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up on 2 charges. The first is battery, simple touch or strike. The second is resisting or obstructing without violence. I reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Sir, Sir, you've indicated that you can afford your own attorney, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. On the battery, simple touch or strike, bond will be set in the amount of $1,500. Resisting or obstructing without violence, it'll be set in the amount of $500. Pretrial release with the following conditions: no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms, and no contact with the victim, Karen Herrera. Sir, no contact means no telephone contact, no in-person contact, no third-party contact, no social media contact. It means no contact whatsoever. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Brian Hendel.
Brian Hendel, 12/30/1988.
Thank you, sir. We've been picked up on an arrest warrant issued in 18 CF 4525 with zero bond. You do qualify for the public defender. Thank you, sir. Rafael Pedroza Morales.
And Mr. Pedroza Morales will be needing the services of Spanish interpreter, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Buenos días, señor. Por
Rafael
favor,
Pedroza
díganos su
Morales.
nombre y fecha de nacimiento. Repita otra vez.
Rafael Pedroza Morales, 21 de mayo de 1971.
Pedroza Morales, May the 21st, 1971.
All right, sir, even if you understand what I say, you're going to need to wait for the interpreter to make the interpretation before you respond so that all proceedings can be interpreted, okay?
Señor, aún si está entendiendo lo que le estoy diciendo, por favor espera la traducción para que así la intérprete pueda traducir su respuesta y asegurarnos que todo está siendo interpretado. ¿Bien?
Yes?
¿Sí?
Sí.
Yes.
Been picked up on an arrest warrant in 19 MM 2340. There's zero bond.
Usted fue detenido por una orden de detención en el número de caso 19MM2340 y no tiene derecho a fianza.
Thank you, sir.
Gracias, señor.
And that's all the Spanish interpreter cases that I have, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Is Mr. Pierre there, or are you guys wanting me to call him last? He's not there?
Your Honor, he's refused.
He refused?
No, he's not here and he's refused.
Um,
Yes. And I don't know if Your Honor is, well, I'm sure you have him in your courtroom.
I'm very
issue to-
familiar with him. Counsel, my concern is that he does not do well in Osceola, and I'm not sure why he's still there. Normally, after proceedings, they transport him back to Orange where he does better. So if perhaps you can check with someone over there on that. His next court appearance isn't until September 9th, so there's really no reason for him to be there for over another week, almost 2 weeks, maybe longer than that, and this continue to happen.
Understood, Your Honor. I know that's typically an internal thing that they do when they do courtesy holds, but I'll ask about it.
Well, every other time when he was done in Osceola, they've transported him to Orange. So if you would just check into that. I mean, like I said, he does not
Sure.
function well in Osceola.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll reset it. Actually, you know what? I don't want to reset that because if I can get him moved, I want to do that. Counsel, you guys were already appointed. Do you mind me going ahead and handling this so that he's not held there any longer than necessary?
No, that's fine, Your Honor.
All right, the battery on LEO is set at $2,500. Resisting officer without violence is set at $1,000. And there was sufficient probable cause.
And could the court appoint us to his case? We have pretty much all of his other cases.
Absolutely. You're appointed.
Thank you.
Michael Baloo. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth.
Michael Boyer, 09/16/1997.
Thank you. Sir, you've been picked up on battery, simple touch, or strikes, domestic. Reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. I didn't see anything about the public defender. Counsel, did you, not counsel, sir, did you apply for the public defender?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, we received that printout from the clerk again this morning. According to the clerk, Mr. Blue was appointed to us.
Okay, thank you. I don't have that information, so I just wanted to make sure. Reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond will be set in the amount of $1,500. No return to 790 Rolfe Street in Kissimmee. No contact, no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms.
Your Honor, would you be taking any action on the probation case?
Can you give me that information? I don't have that.
Yes, it's on 19 CF 1040. It's for petty theft.
Is he out on bond?
1 second, Your Honor. No, he was sentenced to probation on 6/14/2019 for 24 months.
Court will be doing an on-view violation, 0 bond.
And Your Honor, I understand Mr. Blue just is now on view 0 bond with the VOP. If he does get out, can he return one time with law enforcement to retrieve his things?
With the assistance of law enforcement.
I believe he lives there.
To retrieve his personal items. Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Theodore Cardona.
He refused, Your Honor.
All right, he'll be reset for tomorrow then. Robert Carrion. State your name and date of birth, please.
Robert Carrion, February 15, 1975.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up on an arrest warrant. I've reviewed it. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. You're being charged with possession of controlled substance without prescription and possession or use of drug paraphernalia. On the controlled substance, bond will be established in the amount of $2,500. On the drug paraphernalia, it'll be established in the amount of $100. There'll be no alcohol, no drugs, and random urinalysis.
Would that be with PTR, Your Honor?
Does he qualify for
PTR, Your Honor?
PTR? I don't have that information.
He does qualify.
Then yes, with PTR. And I also don't see any information about public defender.
Your Honor, per our information, he was appointed.
Thank you.
No. What do you have to say?
Why is it?
Richard Ocasio,
Approaching, Your Honor.
thank you. PTR, does he qualify? I don't have that information.
1 second. No, Your Honor, he doesn't qualify.
Thank you. Sir, state your name and date of birth, please. Thank you. I'm sorry?
6/28/63.
So 6/28/63.
Thank you.
Richard
And his, Richard or Robert?
Richard.
Richard Ocasio? Saying his name is Richard Ocasio, Your Honor.
Thank you, counsel. Sir, you've been picked up on 2 charges. The first is possession of controlled substance without a prescription. The second is possession or use of drug paraphernalia. Of course, reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Controlled substance will be set on bond in the amount of $1,000. Drug paraphernalia in the amount of $100. Should be no alcohol, no drugs, random urinalysis. And counsel, oh, never mind, I see it. Public defender was appointed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Council, you got anyone over there that I haven't dealt with? Did anybody not get called?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Have a good rest of the week. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Señor, ¿se puede poner los audífonos, por favor?
Madam Interpreter, they've just put the headset on him. If you could repeat that, please.
Esdras Evelio Pérez López. Esdras Evelio Pérez López. 0909 del 93.
Estras Evelio Pérez Lopez, 090993.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up on a battery domestic violence. I've reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Sir, were you asking for the public defender to be appointed?
Sí.
Yes.
Public defender will be appointed.
Okay.
Bond will be set in the amount of $1,500. Or no return to 68 East Circle Key Drive, and no contact with Jonathan Lopez.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Yes, no firearms, no weapons, no alcohol, no drugs.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, this is the first one? Counsel, can we fix that microphone for him? Morning, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Santo Felipe Hernández Erazo. 3 de mayo del 82.
Santo Felipe Hernandez Errazo, May the 3rd, 82.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up on a domestic violence battery. I reviewed the affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Sir, are you asking for the public defender to be appointed in this case?
No.
No.
Will you be hiring your own private attorney?
Sí, de un defensor público.
Oh, yes, a public defender.
Okay, thank you. Did we have a witness that wanted to be heard? I thought that's why this got moved. No?
No.
Bond will be set in the amount of $1,500. You're not to have any contact with Aini Hernandez. No contact means no in-person contact, no third-party contact, no telephone contact, no social media contact, means no contact whatsoever. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms, and you're not to return to 8512 Thistle Avenue. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Julio César Mateo Aquino, octubre 11. Julio César Mateo Aquino, octubre 11 de 1982.
Julio Cesar Mateanos Quiles, October the 11th, 82.
October the 11th or October 31st?
31 de octubre.
31 of October.
Okay, thank you. Sir, you've been picked up on 2 counts. The first is fleeing and eluding law enforcement with siren and lights. And the second is no valid driver's license. Reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Sir, were you asking for the public defender to be appointed in this case?
Sí.
Yes.
O no.
Public defender will be appointed. Bond-
No.
No.
Well,
No.
Which is it, yes or no? Do you want the public defender or not?
No. Sí. Sí quiero uno.
No. Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay, let's go through this one more time. Do you want the public defender, or will you be hiring your own attorney?
Lo que pasa es que no tengo para llamar para mi familia porque me pusieron un abogado.
The thing is, I don't have any way to get in contact with my family so they can get me an attorney.
Public defender will be provisionally appointed. Bond for the fleeing and eluding will be set in the amount of $1,000. No valid driver's license will be set in the amount of $500. Pretrial release, no alcohol, no drugs. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Marlito Alonso Gámez Guerra.
Marlito Alonso Canes Guerra,
85, 18 de diciembre.
December 1885.
I show Perfecto Matias Alonso. It's not the name that was provided.
Yeah.
Sir, do you go by the name Perfecto Matias Alonso?
Marlito Alonso Gámez Guerra.
Marlito Alonso Gámez Guerra.
Yeah.
Perfecto Alonso.
Counsel, can you say that for the record, please?
Robert Williams with the Public Defender's Office. On his ID card, it does say Perfecto Alonso.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sir, you've been picked up for no valid driver's license. I've reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Are you asking for the public defender to be appointed to represent you in this case?
No.
No.
Will you be hiring your own attorney?
No.
No.
Will you be representing yourself?
Sí.
Yes.
Bond will be set in the amount of $500.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Pedro Daniel Ripoll Medina,
Pedro Daniel Ricto Medina,
11
11:30/1999. 11:30/1999.
11:30/99.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up on a warrant out of Okeechobee County. There's no bond on that, sir. I don't know.
Sí.
Thank you. Judge, are you missing a Pedro? He bonded out. Okay, thank you. I'm like, the clerk and I are both looking at it like, okay. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Juan J. Solín Meléndez,
Juan J. Solín Meléndez.
And your date of birth.
26 de noviembre de 1983.
November 26, 83.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up on a warrant out of Miami-Dade County. There's no bond on that, sir. They'll be notified that you're here.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. That's it. Madam Interpreter, I'm being informed that that's the final one.
Okay.
Thank you.
May the interpreter disconnect, or will she be needed for any DV witnesses?
Well, that's an excellent question. It doesn't appear that we're going to have any, but
Okay.
I'll
I
let you
will
disconnect.
Okay, thank you very much. You have a nice day.
Thank you, you too. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
My name is Dayron Aguilera, and my birthday is 10/31/1997.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up on trespass on property after warning. Reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender is appointed in this matter. Bond will be set in the amount of $500. Sir, you're not to return to the Orlando International Airport.
I understand.
Thank
Your
you.
Honor, is there an offer in this case?
Is there an offer? Not today, counsel.
Okay.
Thank you. Morning, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Manuel Calderon, August 17, 1994.
Appearance for defense.
Merrill Glover Gamble's attorney for Manuel Calderon.
Thank you. Sir, you've been picked up for domestic violence battery. I've reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond will be set in the amount of $1,000. I'm sorry? Oh, good morning, ma'am. State your name, please.
Jadalis Figueroa,
And ma'am, what would you like me to consider?
no contact.
Thank you. Bond will be set in the amount of $1,500. You're not to have any contact with the victim. No contact means no in-person contact, no telephone contact, no third-party contact, no social media contact, no contact whatsoever. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. Court will be revoking an 18 CF 17247, 18 CF 16738 with 0 on both. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
10/24/1997. Timothy Cabrera Echeverria.
Thank you. We've been picked up on 2 charges. One is robbery, the other is petty theft. Reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Were you asking for the public defender to be appointed in this matter? Public defender will be appointed based on your application. You do qualify. Bond on the robbery will be set in the amount of $5,000. On the petty theft, it will be set in the amount of $250. You're not to have any hostile contact with Carl. Thank you.
No problem.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Cameron Davis, December 29th, 1992.
Thank you. you've been picked up on 2 charges. There's an attempted burglary of a dwelling and loitering or prowling. Reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender will be appointed in this matter. Bond on the attempted burglary will be set in the amount of $1,000. On the loitering or prowling, be set in the amount of $100. You're not to return to 734 Short Avenue. Thank you, sir.
And he is a open misdemeanor case, trespass.
Yeah, I'm not
Is
going to
that a
take any
bond?
action on that. Good morning, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please.
Dewana Cosby, 32875.
Thank you. Ma'am, you've been picked up on aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. I reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. You do qualify for the public defender. Bond to be set in the amount of $10,000. Pretrial release with the following conditions: no weapons, no firearms, no alcohol, no drugs, no contact with the victim, Tarek Cosby, and no return to 4401 Gordon Rain Courts.
Your Honor, we're going to ask for no hostile contact and that Ms. Cosby be able to return to her home. She does have children there. From reading the facts of the affidavit, it doesn't seem to be I know what she got charged with, but from the facts of the affidavit, I don't believe that the situation was as egregious as the charge of aggravated battery in this instance. She did, like I said before, she does have children there, and she does live there. I don't believe the victim lives at the residence at this time.
Any response from state?
Judge, I'd be objecting based on the fact that we don't have a victim here today to confirm that they're not in fear of the defendant. And would like them to return based on that information. I don't believe it's appropriate to correct no hostile contact at this time.
Well, Your Honor, in response, I will argue if a lower bond could be set for Ms. Cosby.
Bond will remain the same. A motion can be filed with the trial court where they can conduct an evidentiary hearing to give notice to the victim in this matter. The fact of the matter is the charging affidavit does set forth facts which comply with the statutory charge that is being charged against the defendant. So that request will be denied today. She can go back one time with the assistance of law enforcement to retrieve her personal items, though. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Landon Gardner, 10/22/96.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up on 2 charges. The first is aggravated battery on a pregnant woman. The second is battery with dating violence. Reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find that there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender will be appointed in this matter. And the aggravated battery on a pregnant woman or pregnant person, bond will be set in the amount of $3,500. Battery, dating violence to be set in the amount of $1,500. Not to have any drugs, alcohol, weapons, or firearms, and no contact whatsoever with Jennifer Husenga. That means no telephone contact, no in-person contact, no third-party contact, no social media contact, no contact. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please.
Ruth Joachim, February 21st, 1985.
Thank you. Ma'am, you've been picked up on aggravated battery with a motor vehicle. Reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender will be appointed in this matter. Bond will be set in the amount of, I'm sorry? Oh. Hi, sir, how are you? Can you state your name, please?
Personnel Georgia.
And sir, is there something you would like the court to consider?
No.
Or are you just here to watch?
Well, I want her to come back home and I'll vacate the premises, the house.
You're willing to vacate the premises?
Yes, we have kids.
You understand I'm going to be ordering that there's no contact between the two of you.
We have kids, so
I understand, but I can't allow contact between the two of you, at least right now,
okay.
okay? I will allow a third party for the purposes of children only,
Okay.
but there's not to be any contact outside of that. That means don't be talking about the incident, don't be talking about other stuff, it's just about exchange of children, things of that. You understand? Both of you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, bond will be set in the amount of $3,500. There'll be no contact with the victim, no alcohol, no drugs. There were actually two victims in this matter. There'll be no contact with either one of them, with the exception of the third-party contact for the purposes of children only. Okay? Any questions?
No.
All right, thank you.
Also, no weapons, Judge?
Yeah, no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms.
And she did qualify for PTR.
Thank you. It'll be PTR release with that bond. Okay. Yes, ma'am. That way they can monitor the alcohol and drugs. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Daniel Betts, August 1st, 1988.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up on domestic violence battery. I've reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Sir, you do not qualify for the public defender, so you will need to obtain your own private attorney. Bond will be set in.
Your Honor.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
State your name, please.
Rachel Moore.
Ms. Moore, is there something you would like the court to consider today?
No contact, please.
Bond will be set in the amount of $1,500. You're not to have any contact with Rachel Moore. No contact means no in-person contact, no third-party contact, no social media contact, no telephone contact. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms. You do qualify for pretrial release, so you will need to report there. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Dale Byers, April 14th, 1983.
Thank you, sir. Been picked up as a result of a domestic violence battery. Reviewed the arrest affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. You qualify for the public defender. They will be appointed. Bond will be set in the amount of $1,500. Sir, you're not to return to 6101 Wilbeth Avenue. Were you living there at the time?
Yes.
You can return with the assistance, I'll get them in just a moment. You can return with the assistance of law enforcement to obtain your personal belongings. May I have each of you state your name, please?
Dale Eugene Byers Jr.
And you, sir?
Nicholas James Byers.
And gentlemen, what would you like me to consider?
No contact whatsoever.
There will be no contact with Dale Byers Jr. or Nicholas Byers. You're not to have any alcohol, drugs, weapons, or firearms. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Michael Clark, 8375.
Thank you, sir. Been picked up for domestic violence battery.
Yes.
Reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Sir, you do not qualify for the public defender, so you will need to obtain your own private attorney. Bond will be set in this case in the amount of $1,500. You're not to have any contact with Gloria Mar Rivera. That means no telephone contact, no in-person contact, no third-party contact, no social media contact, no contact. Okay? Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Roderick O'Neill Couch, 4/25/1981.
Thank you, sir. Are you asking for the public defender to be appointed in this matter?
No, ma'am. I want to plead not guilty. I guess yes.
You would like the public defender to be appointed, sir?
Yes.
All right, public defender will be appointed. Reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond will be set in the amount of $1,500. Sir, you're not to have any contact with Alice Cook. No contact means no in-person contact, no third-party contact, no telephone contact, no social media, internet contact. Do you understand?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, can Mr. Couch have a one-time return and recover his personal belongings?
Yes, one-time return with the assistance of law enforcement to obtain his personal belongings.
When I go back to court?
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Zachary Drake, 29 February 1976.
Thank you. Ma'am, state your name, please.
It's Lamel Drake.
And Ms. Drake, what would you like me to consider?
Contact.
State, would you like to inquire?
Yes, Judge. Maureen, how long, or what's your relationship to Mr. Drake?
Wife,
How long have you been married?
13 years.
Do you have any children together?
2.
And do you live together?
Yes.
Do you live here, or do you live at?
We are here on holiday, so we're at the same hotel.
So right now you're in the same hotel?
Yes.
And how long have you been here?
For about 5 days.
And how long are you gonna stay?
Until 27th.
And has anything like this ever happened before?
No.
And if something were to happen again, would you feel comfortable calling law enforcement?
Yes.
And are you afraid of Mr. Drake?
No.
Public defender will be appointed in this matter. Public defender, do you have any questions of the victim?
No, Your Honor.
All right, the court's reviewed the affidavit, charges domestic violence battery. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond will be set in the amount of $1,000. Sir, in light of the circumstances, the court will order no hostile contact with the victim. That means if things start to get heated, you need to leave, because if there's any report whatsoever, you're the one that's coming back to jail. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right, so no arguing, no spitting, no nothing. Got it?
Yes.
All right, thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. State your name, please.
Michael May.
Sir, you've been picked up on domestic violence battery. I've reviewed the charging affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. You do not qualify for the public defender. Ma'am, state your name, please.
Christian May.
And Ms. May, what would you like me to consider?
I want contact. We've been together over 14 years, married 7. This is so out of character for him. I'm not the one that called the cops. I'm not hurt. This is mind-boggling to me. He is a good man. I am not afraid of him. I want him to go home with me.
State, would you like to inquire?
Maybe basically answering my question. If something like this were to happen again, would you feel comfortable calling law enforcement?
Yes, because it's never going to happen again.
But you didn't call law enforcement this time?
No, ma'am, I did not.
And when you were asked to if they wanted to contact law enforcement, you said no?
Somebody from the resort contacted the police, not us.
Right, but when they asked you if you wanted law enforcement, you said no.
No, I do not want law enforcement.
Are you afraid of Mr. May?
Absolutely not.
I have no further questions.
All right, bond will be set in the amount of $1,500. Sir, you do qualify for pretrial release with the following conditions: no alcohol, no drugs, no weapons, no firearms, and no hostile contact with Christian May. Again, that means if you're starting to heat up, you need to walk away. There shouldn't be anything physical, anything verbal, nothing. If police are called again, regardless of who calls, you're the one that's ultimately going to be coming to jail. So just make sure you separate if you feel things starting to heat up, okay? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please.
Brittany Mitchell, 1688.
Thank you. Ma'am, you've been picked up on dating, violence, battery.
Yes, ma'am.
I reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. You do qualify for the public defender, and they will be appointed. Bond will be set in the amount of $1,500. You're not to have any contact with Kristen Weiss. That means no in-person contact, no third-party contact, no telephone contact, no social media contact, no contact whatsoever. You're also not to return to 1241 Viscaya Lake Road.
And she does qualify for PTR, Your Honor.
All right, that'll be with PTR release conditions.
Your Honor, I would respectfully ask for a lower bond in this case. I'm reading the facts of the affidavit. It appeared that the officer noted that the alleged victim in this case appeared to be intoxicated at the time that this incident had happened.
I did note that, but I also noted other facts that were really quite concerning to this court, so the bond will not be lowered. State your name and date of birth, please.
Wendy Bailey, 10/17/89.
Thank you. So you've been picked up for possession of cocaine. I reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender will be appointed in this case. Bond will be set in the amount of $1,000, and you're not to have any drugs or alcohol. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Mark Brown, January 7th, 1967.
Thank you, sir. So you're being charged with driving while license suspended with 2 prior convictions. I reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender will be appointed in this matter. Bond will be set in the amount of $2,500 as the 19 CF 5315 and 19 CF, oh goodness, I cannot even read my handwriting, 10200. Bond will be revoked and set at 0 in each of those cases. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Andrew Chico, 6/27/87.
Thank you. Sir, you've been picked up on a couple of matters. The first are failures to appear. One of them, the bond is at $2,500. The other one, the bond is at $500. That's in 2019 CF 5993. Additionally, you've also been charged with petty theft, 2 prior convictions, and resisting officer without violence. I reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender will be appointed in this matter. You're not to return to 5300 South John Young Parkway. Bond on the petty theft will be set in the amount of $1,000, and resisting officer without violence will be in the amount of $500. Thank you, sir.
So I still got bond from the other things? Before I leave, so I know.
No bonds on the failure to appear, Your Honor.
That's correct.
Right.
Hmm? Oh, no. Wait, one was 2,500 and one was 500? Yes, I'm sorry, counsel, 2,500 and 500.
Okay. 25 and 5.
Sorry, counsel.
That's fine.
I mean, I know I said it initially, but,
Yeah, you know,
Okay.
they have questions for me, Your Honor, and sometimes,
well, when you have them back to back where there's one that doesn't and then there's one that
Yeah.
does. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Name and date of birth.
I'm Reginald Edward, 08/06/1983.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up on grand theft, 3rd degree. I reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender will be appointed in this matter. Bond to be set in the amount of $500. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Joshua Fast, 8487.
Thank you, sir. Been picked up on 2 charges. There's burglary of conveyance and grand theft, 3rd degree. Reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender will be appointed in this matter. In the burglary of conveyance, the bond will be set in the amount of $3,500. Grand theft, 3rd degree, be set in the amount of $150. No return to the location. And on 19 CF 6571, bond will be revoked and set at $2,000. It was actually out on ROR, so I'm revoking the ROR, establishing bond at $2,000 on that case. And then on 2019 CF 9187, it'll be revoked and bond will be set in the amount of $1,000.
Are there 2 counts on that?
I'm sorry?
Are there 2 counts on that? Do you want to?
Oh, you know what, you're right. 5,000 on the first count, 1,000 on the second count.
on what?
On the revoke case?
On the 9187, 5,000 and 1,000. That was the robbery armed with a deadly weapon and carrying a concealed weapon by convicted felon. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
DeJuan Gines, June 2nd, 1987.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up on 2 charges. The first is grand theft, 3rd degree, motor vehicle. The second is possession of cocaine. I reviewed the arrest affidavit, find that there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender will be appointed in this matter. Bond on the grand theft, 3rd degree, will be set in the amount of $1,000. The possession of cocaine will be set in the amount of $1,000. And the pretrial release under 19 MM 358 will be revoked. Bond will be set in the amount of $500.
So,
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Hedges John, 10/29/88.
Thank you, sir. He's been picked up for burglary of dwelling. I've reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause.
You said burglary?
Huh?
Hey, excuse me. Oh, nah, it was, they only hit me trespassing, it wasn't burglary.
The affidavit I have says burglary of a dwelling.
This was an add-on charge.
I'm sorry?
It's an add-on charge.
Okay.
He was seen for the trespass yesterday.
Yeah, because yesterday I ordered no return to the apartments.
And that was the alleged crime therein with the burglary, Your Honor?
Yes.
Excuse me, man, doesn't burglary like consist of tools and stuff?
Sir, it's best not to talk about the case at all until you talk about it with your attorney so that nothing you say can be used against you. Public defender is appointed in this matter. And again, the court's going to order no return to the Camden Apartments. Bond in this case will be set in the amount of $5,000.
Your Honor, just to be clear, as far as the burglary, I'm saying he was allegedly only sleeping inside of an apartment. I don't see with a PC for him to commit a crime therein. There's PC for that.
Says he unlawfully entered or remained in a dwelling.
Yes, that's. All right, we'll have to figure it out.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Archie Lamar Jackson, 9258 September 2nd, 1958.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up for possession of cocaine. I've reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender will be appointed in this matter. Sir, you're not to have any alcohol or drugs, and bond will be set in the amount of $1,000.
Amen.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Derek Jefferson, 32272.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up for a sudden snatching robbery. I've reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender will be appointed in this matter. Bond will be set in the amount of $1,000. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Oscar Leonidas, January 26, 1994.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up for carjacking. I reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender will be appointed in this matter. Bond in this case will be set in the amount of $20,000. That's 2018 CF 4495. It'll be revoked with a zero bond. 2018 CF 4492 will also be revoked with a zero bond. Thank you, sir.
Lopez Colon bonded, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good afternoon. State your name and date of birth, please.
Mardoche Matherin, I'm 20 years old, March 8, 1999. How you doing?
Very well, thank you, sir. You've been picked up for possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver. It's a result of an arrest warrant that was previously entered. There is sufficient probable cause. Public defender is appointed. I'm changing the bond amount to $7,500. No alcohol, no drugs. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Napoleon Matthew, 2/23/1975.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up on a couple of charges. The first is battery on law enforcement officer. Then there's possession of counterfeited 10 or more money coins, uttering forgery, and resisting officer without violence. I reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender will be appointed in this matter. Bond on the battery on law enforcement officer be set at $5,000. Possession of counterfeited 10 or more be set at $500. Uttering forgery be $500. And resisting officer without violence, $500. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. State your name and date of birth, please.
Lakeisha Elaine Peterson. My date of birth is 12/21/1983.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, you've been picked up on 3 charges. The first is possession of cocaine, then trespass on property after warning, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I've reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender will be appointed. On the possession of cocaine, bond will be set in the amount of $1,000. Trespass on property after warning be set in the amount of $100. Possession of drug paraphernalia, $100. You're not to have any drugs or alcohol, and no return to 4420 Gore Avenue.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I think we skipped purpose, Your Honor.
We did.
Behavior.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Francois 3rd, April 18, 94.
Rainforest at the hospital, Your Honor.
One more time.
That Michael Rainforest.
So I have Beard. Do I have Beard? On that name, one more time, please.
It's Michael Rainforest.
Him? I'm asking him for his name.
Francois 3rd.
Thank you. So you've been picked up on 2 charges, driving while license suspended with prior convictions, resisting officer without violence. I reviewed the arrest affidavit, find that there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender will be appointed in this matter. Bond on the driving while license suspended will be set in the amount of $2,500. Resisting officer without violence will be set in the amount of $500.
He does qualify for a pretrial release.
I don't think that's necessary in this case, but thank you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Carl Williams, 11/27/87.
Thank you. Sir, you've been picked up on a couple of matters. One is a warrant for failure to appear in 17 CF 11237. There's 0 bond on that, sir. And then the second matter is introduction of contraband into a county facility. I reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. You do not qualify for the public defender. Bond will be set in the amount of $1,000 on this case. You're not to have any alcohol or drugs. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Devontae Marquette Green, 8/10/1992.
Thank you, sir. Public defender will be appointed. Sir, you've been picked up on 3 failures to appear in 19 MM18. Each of them have a 0 bond. sorry? Yes.
Your Honor, Cheney, Henry Lee Bonded,
Almost had it right.
and Andre Shepherd Bonded.
Any more? No?
Not right now.
All right. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Seneca Lamar Alexander, 8/12/79.
Thank you, sir. Been picked up on a charge of resisting officer without violence. I reviewed the arrest affidavit, and I find there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender will be appointed. Bond to be set in the amount of $500. Mr. 19 CF 11046. It appears. Is that the correct case number? Okay. That'd be revoked with a 0 bond. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. State your name and date of birth, please.
Jessica Brown, 22797.
Thank you. Ma'am, you've been picked up for battery. Reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender will be appointed in this matter. Bond to be set in the amount of $1,000. You're not to have any contact with Michelle Ramirez. No contact means no telephone contact, no in-person contact, no third-party contact, no social media or internet contact. It means no contact whatsoever. Do you understand?
Yes.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Yao Chen, July 28/75.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up on violation of county ordinance. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender will be appointed in this matter. State, do you have an offer? Sir, the state's offer is for you to have credit time served. Is that something you'd like to consider to settle the case today?
Yes.
All right. If you'll raise your right hand to be sworn, please. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I've been provided a plea form, which appears to have your signature on it. Did you read it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have enough time to speak with the attorney about it?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you agree to waive your constitutionally protected rights in this case in order for the court to accept this plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
If you are not a United States citizen, do you understand that by entering into this plea, it will be cause for deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Based upon the court's review of the arrest affidavit, I find there's sufficient factual basis to move forward. Sir, I'm going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this plea freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. The terms of the plea are credit time served. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you. You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need the services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. Yes. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Lucky John Hollander Jr.,
Date of birth.
12/22/83.
Thank you, sir. Been picked up on 2 charges. The first is resisting officer without violence. The second is disorderly intoxication. I reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender will be appointed in this matter. For the resisting officer without violence, bond will be set in the amount of $500. Disorderly intoxication will be set in the amount of $250.
Your Honor, is there offer for the disorderly conduct, and disorderly intoxication, I'm sorry? Resisting.
And I'll leave that to the trial attorney.
Hey.
Good afternoon. State your name and date of birth, please.
Tatiana Vera, 042187.
Thank you. You've been picked up on 2 charges, resisting officer without violence and petty theft. Court's reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender is appointed in this matter. On the resisting charge, bond will be set in the amount of $500. On the petty theft charge, it will be set in the amount of $100. Not to have any association with the co-defendant, and no return to the CVS located at 5300 South John Young Parkway.
I think I know what you're really out.
Good afternoon, sir. Go ahead and step forward.
Yes, ma'am.
State your name and date of birth, please.
Nathaniel Walters, 122069, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up for trespass on property after warning. I reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender will be appointed in this matter. State, do you have an offer?
Yes, Judge, I would also give the credit time service.
Sir, the state's offering credit time served to settle this case today. Would you like to take that offer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Raise your right hand to be sworn, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I've been provided with a plea form which appears to have your signature on it. Do you wish to enter a plea in this case today?
No contest.
Did you read the form?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have enough time to speak with the attorney about it? Do you agree to waive your constitutionally protected rights as set forth in this plea form in exchange for the court accepting this plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
If you are not a United States citizen, you understand that by entering into this plea, it will be cause for deportation. Based upon the court's review of the arrest affidavit, I find there's sufficient factual basis to move forward. Sir, I'm going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this plea freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. The terms of the plea will be credit time served. Sir, I'll also remind you that you're not to return to the 7-Eleven located at 901 South Orange Blossom Trail. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need the services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. Good luck to you, sir.
All right, thank you. You have a blessed day.
David County on his refusal.
All right, it'll be reset for tomorrow.
Quentin Jackson is mental health. Keith Vasquez is mental health. Michael White is mental health.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Good morning. I'm Sean Seagram.
So you've been picked up on a couple of matters. The first is larceny grand theft. Court's reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender will be appointed in this matter. Bond will be set in $2,500.
Your Honor, can I say something?
It's best not to say anything about your case at this time because anything that you say is being recorded and it can be used against you in further proceedings. So it's really best that you speak with your attorney before addressing the court. But if you want to say something, I can't keep you from doing that.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
The next matter is robbery with firearm, battery, touch, or strike. Court has reviewed the arrest affidavit, find that there's sufficient factual basis and probable cause. Public defender will be appointed. In the robbery with firearm, there will be no bond set. In the battery, will be set in the amount of $1,500. No contact with the victim. Court will not be taking any action on 19 CT 5570. Do an on-view violation for 2017 CF 11021 with 0 bonds. There's a probation violation warrant with no bond as well. That last one, there wasn't one. So on the violation of probation, I did an on-view. Okay,
Yeah, I think that one back, the first appearance to Tanner was, and it was an entry error. Because it's on the same one that you had the on-view BOP for.
okay. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Corey Smith, 22788.
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up for soliciting without a permit. Court's reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender will be appointed in this matter. State, is there an offer on this case? Sir, the state's offering credit time served in this case. Is that something you'd like to
Yes.
consider? All right. They're going to provide you with a plea form. So raise your right hand to be sworn, please. Do you solemnly swear to or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Sir, I've been provided with a plea form which appears to have your signature on it. Did you read it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have enough time to speak with the attorney about it?
Yes, ma'am.
This document indicates your constitutionally protected rights. Do you agree to waive those rights in exchange for the court accepting this plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
If you are not a United States citizen, do you understand that by entering into this plea, it will be cause for deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Based upon the court's review of the arrest affidavit, I find there's sufficient factual basis to move forward. Sir, I'm going to find that you are alert and intelligent, that you're entering into this plea freely and voluntarily, and the court will accept it. Terms of the plea are credit time served. You'll need to pay the court costs within 1 year. Court will not be taking any action on 19 CF 7681.
Thank you, ma'am.
Do you have any questions? Hold on. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
You have 30 days in which to appeal. If you need the services of an attorney, you can apply to the court. If you qualify, one will be appointed to you. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. State your name and date of birth, please.
Good afternoon. Giovanni Williams, 5'11",
Thank you, sir. You've been picked up for disorderly conduct. I've reviewed the arrest affidavit. I find there's sufficient probable cause. Public defender will be appointed in this matter. State, is there an offer?
There's not.
There's no offer to consider today, sir. Bond will be set in the amount of $250.
No offer.
Why don't you speak with the attorney?
Your Honor, in this matter, can I plead to the bench on this one? Do you have an offer, Your Honor, for a disorderly conduct?
Given the allegations contained within the arrest affidavit, the court will not be accepting a plea to the bench today.
They said $250?
Yes, sir.
So how much would that be?